Okay, I'm talking about the chemical properties of alkali, and I want to present four basic chemical properties of alkali. All of you know that chemical property is always related to the change. I mean to say new substance forms in the in chemical properties, and we have to write the chemical reaction for that, and I'm writing chemical reaction also. Okay, number one, what are the chemical properties of alkali? We can say that they react with acid to form salt and water only. This is one of the important property. They react with they reacts with acid to form salt and water only. Why we are saying salt and water only? Because we cannot get any third product, just the salt and water. Okay, what are the example of this reaction? Example of this chemical reaction, example of this chemical property can be taken like this. Calcium hydroxide is an alkali. When it reacts with hydrochloric acid, then what forms? Calcium chloride forms, along with what? Water. Now, to balance the equation, if we take here 2 to 4, and here 2 is balanced. CaCl2, calcium balance, it 2 should be given to chlorine. Now we can take another also. Sodium hydroxide is another alkali. So sodium hydroxide is another alkali. When it reacts with acetic acid, let's say CS3COOH, then what happens? Whenever an acid reacts with alkali, then the hydrogen of the acid is displaced by the metallic part of the alkali. That's why sodium takes the place of hydrogen, CS3COONA. This is sodium acetate, and replace hydrogen combines with this oxygen and hydrogen to form water. This salt, this water. When alkali reacts with acid, they always form salt and water. Now let's talk about another chemical property. Number 2, strong alkali absorbs CO2, carbon dioxide, from air, forming carbonates. Now the example, now we are writing chemical reaction and giving that reaction as an example. Just for example, strong alkali, we can take sodium hydroxide is one of the strong alkali, potassium hydroxide is another strong alkali. This strong alkali actually absorbs carbon dioxide from atmosphere when they are taken on a watch glass or any container and placed for a few minutes. Then what is seen, their surface appears to be moistened. Actually what is happening, they are reacting with carbon dioxide contained in air, and they are forming the carbonate. Sodium forms sodium carbonate along with water, and potassium forms potassium carbonate along with water. And now to balance the equation, we have to take here 2, here also we have to take 2. Okay, this is balanced chemical equation. This is second chemical property. Now I want to talk about third one. Third chemical property, what can we see? When they are warmed with ammonium salt. When they are warmed with ammonium salt, then ammonia gas forms. we are highlighting ammonia gas only. That's why ammonia gas forms I am writing. Not only ammonia, salt also forms, water also forms. Now, how can we give chemical reaction to verify this statement? We can say that ammonium chloride, NH4Cl, this is one of the ammonium salt. We can take another also, just like ammonium carbonate. This is another ammonium salt. When ammonium chloride reacts with, let's take one alkali, NaOH, and what forms we are writing here, and another, let's say ammonium carbonate reacts with calcium hydroxide, this is another alkali. Now what is the product? When ammonium salt reacts with alkali, I mean to say when they are mixed and warmed, then what is seen? A salt forms, sodium chloride here, and water also forms, and a gas, that is ammonia gas, evolves. This is our highlight. And in the same way, ammonium carbonate, when reacts with calcium hydroxide, calcium carbonate forms along with what? Water and ammonia gas. First chemical reaction is balanced, but in second, hydrogen 3 to 5, here 2 and 2 and 8, 10, 5 and 10. That's why I am writing here, I'm writing 2 and 2, and that this balances the equation. This can be written as another chemical property. Now let's talk about another one also. When alkali reacts with heavy metallic salt, it gives insoluble base as precipitate. Precipitate means it is also insoluble. When alkali reacts with, let's take some alkali reacting with heavy metallic salt. Heavy metal means it may be calcium, it may be copper, it may be iron, it may be zinc. Heavy metal, let's talk about copper. Copper sulfate is, let's write with another ink. Copper sulfate if reacts with alkali, then what is told? Heavy metallic salt is reacting with alkali. Then what is seen? Copper hydroxide, this is insoluble base. Copper hydroxide precipitate along with this sodium sulfate. This is highlighted, insoluble base precipitate when alkali reacts with heavy metallic salt, this way. Now we can take another example also, another heavy metallic salt, let's say iron chloride, another heavy metallic salt, when reacts with alkali like potassium hydroxide, then what is seen? Iron hydroxide precipitates, means becomes insoluble and appears in the solution along with the formation of another salt, potassium chloride. And this can be balanced by this way. Chlorine 2, if we take here 2, then chlorine is balanced, potassium 2 balance, hydrogen 2 okay. These are 4 basic chemical properties of alkali we can write in the examination. Okay, this much for today.